everyone, welcome back. It's Anna here. As you know, I'm on the Cambridge Weight Plan. I have been doing this since the 1st of June and I have been losing an incredible amount of weight since then. I'm going to give you my update for the week in terms of how much weight I lost last week, and I'll talk a little bit about my reflections. Before I get started, I am sorry about this level of freeze with the cold weather and the rain. The freeze is real, it's just not going away. I'm dealing with it, I don't like it, but there it is. So that's whinge number one, if you'd like. Whinge number two is my spots continue, but I am conscious that I'm the only one that is suffering them. But it's a little bit of the detox symptoms that I've been getting since I dropped down to 3 products. So that's a positive sign. It's a sign that I'm still losing weight, so I'm rolling with it. And whinge number 3, if you like, is the glare on my glasses today. I don't know what's happening, so please bear with me. I can't get the lighting right. I think it's because it's a bit later and it's dark outside and I need to work the lights. But yeah, I'm working with it. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I just need to lean forward. That might be a bit scary. So I just work around, but please bear with me. So let's get down to business. Weight loss, how have I done this week? So if you watched my video last week, I had a fantastic weight loss. I wasn't expecting to lose as much, but I was still curious to see how much weight I would lose in 3 products. So the weight loss for the week is 1.1 kilos, which is 2.2 to 1/4 pounds. Which is great, and that puts me at a total of 36.6 kilos, which is, I need to write this down, it is 81 pounds, amazing, and that's a total of 5.8 stones, so that is 2 pounds or 2.5 pounds away from 6 stones. I could not be happier. I think in the month of October I've lost approximately about a stone in a whole month. So after 4 months, in 5 months, having lost a stone, it's still a fantastic result. It's definitely more than I have lost in any diet. I've definitely been doing this for longer than any other diet I have done in my entire life. I have done many a diet with various forms of success and failures, self-inflicted rather than failures, call them learnings, because they are helping me even as we speak now. In terms of all of those previous diet failures that I've had are things that have helped me to prepare my mindset and my thinking for what I'm doing right now. So it has been useful, and it's something that is still helping me now, but it hasn't been the easiest. I still can't believe that I have been doing this for 22 weeks, 4 more weeks, and I will be at the halfway point in a year. So I thought it would be a good time to talk about plans and I guess how I'm planning to go about it, how I'm looking into the future, how I structure my thinking around what I need to do, because doing a diet for this period of time, I've done it for nearly half a year, and I have just gone over a bit over halfway point now of what I want to lose. So it is a bit of a time to take stock of where I am and to think about how much have I achieved so far, but also what do I need to think about going forward, and how do I need to structure my thinking, and what do I need to focus on, and how I'm going to keep momentum, and how I'm going to keep myself going. So I thought that would be a good point for the day. Update on the cold. The cold continues. As you can see today, I've got a different scar. My hands are freezing, and I've got this wonderful other kind of shawly thing that I put around my legs, like a total granny blanket around my legs, but it keeps me warm whilst I'm working from home and I'm sitting, I'm completely still, and I've got myself some thermals, and just having inner lining is really making a massive difference. I'm probably wearing double, triple layers, and that's keeping me warm. And earlier on in the week, we had a new fireplace in our living room, which we've been looking forward for weeks, probably for about a whole month, to have installed, and we switched it off last night for the first time. It was so nice to just finally feel warm at home and not feel like I had to be wrapped in 15 layers. So that was so good. God knows what my heating bill is going to be, but at least I will feel warm, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, you don't want to hear about all of that. You want to hear about how I've been getting on. Before I do, I wanted to let you know about something else that happened this week. So on Sunday, we went to see an NFL game, an American football game. For those of you that may not be familiar with it, my husband loves it. He's complete addict. That's what happens at home every Sunday. He's just watching that back to back and probably throughout the week because he records it and he just carries on watching. It's like a never-ending stream of American football. So I was a bit dubious about going, but we went to Wembley to watch this game. It was a fantastic atmosphere. It was a great experience. I was so happy, but I was also thinking about the fact that 6 months ago, there's not a chance on this earth that I would have gone. And there is not a chance in this earth that I would have enjoyed it, because I would have felt so uncomfortable sitting in the seat where I was with people around me, feeling like I was crouched and like I couldn't move. I would have gone and worried about what did I want to have a drink, what would I want to eat, what snacks would I be having, all of that kind of stuff. And that didn't come into the equation. I took my bars with me. I had my bars. I had a coffee, a black coffee with nothing else. And it was a completely different experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But one of the things I enjoyed the most was how comfortably I was able to sit on the seat that we were allocated. I mean, actually, it was quite a comfy seat for a stadium because it had a bit of padding to it and it was quite wide. But I'm conscious that before I started this process, I would have probably sat like this all the way through because I would have been uncomfortable and worried about heating, knocking the people by my side, and that would have been quite stressful. So it was quite interesting to go through that, and part of the enjoyment for me was sitting in that seat and being like, "Ooh, I have so much room to move," it was just so nice. It really was, because it's one of those non-scale related victories and another way of measuring just how far you've come and the difference that the weight loss does in so many areas of your life. So that was really interesting. The other thing that was interesting was that also recently I had to take a flight, and I flew with EasyJet, or EasyJet as I like to call them. It's not the most comfortable excuse me, it's not the most comfortable means of transportation sometimes, but they are cheap, so they're good to travel with. So flew with EasyJet, but the interesting thing was that even after all of the weight that I have lost, the seatbelt, I had to put it all the way to the end, and it literally just reached. Now, it wasn't like digging into me, but I was at the end of the full stretch of the seatbelt. Now, when I went on holiday over the summer, I had a lot more spare, so clearly the EasyJet seatbelts don't have a huge amount of spare, whatever you call, belt on them. So my thinking at the time was, imagine what these would have been like before. I probably would not have been able to do that seatbelt, and I would have felt so bad as a result. So that's the sort of thing that I would have struggled with before, and now I'm finding that I am, just taking less space that I was doing previously. So that was quite interesting to see. So that those two have been recent experiences that have made me feel actually quite good, thinking, the progress that I've made and the difference that the weight loss is doing to my life. But as I said, I am halfway there, or I'm over the halfway now, and I'm thinking about what it's going to take going forward. So I will continue to be on 3 products for as long as I can, and to get as close to my goal weight as I possibly can. So it'll probably be about half a stone away from my goal weight, which is probably going to take me till at least Easter next year. It might have been a bit quicker, but I have actually got a holiday, a skiing holiday in February, so I'm going to have to. I don't want to miss out on this holiday. It's a big anniversary for us. It's a 20-year anniversary since we got together. So it is a big event for us. We've been planning this for ages. We're going to Banff in Canada, which is where we met on a skiing holiday, and we want to do this again. So we're going skiing. We haven't been to Banff since we first met, and so this is quite a special occasion for us, and we've been planning this for quite some time. So I want to make the most of the skiing, but I am conscious that on 600 calories a day, 3 products, I'm not going to be in any form of fit skiing condition. So I'm going to have to come off to step 2 before that and train up a little bit, go up to step 3, because then you can have carbs, you can do a bit more exercise. I'm going to have to do a bit of exercise and work my legs, my thighs in particular, so I can withstand the skiing. And then go on the holiday, and when I come back, then go back to step 1. So what that means is that I am coming towards the end of my second 12-week cycle. If you're not aware of this, you can only do step 1 on the Cambridge diet for 12 weeks at a time. So if you've done it for 12 weeks, you need to come off it, go on to step 2. So that is you eat 3 products and you have a 200-calorie meal. You have that for a week, and then you go back to another 12 weeks of step 1 should you need it. So I've done 1 cycle. I'm coming to the end of the second cycle. I think it takes me to the first week in either the last week in November or the first week in December. So I'll do that. Then I'll go back onto step 1 till mid-January, mid towards end of January. So I'm going to still be on step 1 during Christmas. I am fully ready for that. I'll come to talk about that, but I am fully ready for doing step 1 during Christmas. And then mid-January I will come off. I'll do 1 week in step 2. I'll do another week on step 3, and I'll then stay on about step 3, step 4 until I go on holidays. I'll do a few weeks of thighs, exercise of thighs, calves, bums, that kind of thing. Get myself ready for skiing. We're going skiing for 10 days. And then when I come back towards the middle to end of February, I'll go back on step 1, and I will continue to there. So it will take me at least till Easter, if not beyond that. I reckon when I come back from holidays, I will do at least 1 more cycle of 12 weeks. And then I'll take it from there. My expectation is that I will be, all being well, and weight loss continuing at the rate that it has been. I'm hoping that I will be at goal weight around the start of the summer. So maybe around June, something like that. Which, when you consider how much weight I want to lose, a total of about 70 kilos, is which is 10 to 11 stone, is a huge amount of weight to get me to goal weight. And I think a year to go through that, considering the benefits I'm feeling already, would be great. Sorry about that. And I guess the way I see it is that it could be a long time, but actually I think a year to transform your body, to transform yourself, is not a bad thing. When I think already the difference that 6 months has made to me and to my lifestyle and how I feel about myself is immense. I reckon it will take me till about Christmas to be the lowest I can remember being in my adult life. I have always been overweight. I was that kind of, chubby baby, and fairly chubby growing up, and fairly overweight all the way through my teens. Not hugely, but just because I was quite active, but still overweight. And then it just continued to pile on and pile on and pile on, and it has continued. So I feel like I'm just bringing it back. I think by Christmas I'll probably be at the lowest that I can remember being for a long time, at least in the last 6 years or so. And the way I see it is that takes me back to the lowest that I can remember, and anything after that is a complete bonus. It's completely uncharted territory. I don't know what it would feel like. It will probably be size 16 and below. I can't even remember what that feels like, so it will be such a difference for me. And I'm just taking it one day and a week at a time and enjoying the process and enjoying the changes and focusing on what I have to do. I think that kind of gradual focus has really helped me, because I think if I, at the start of June, I was going to say, if I had thought that it would take me a full year to lose the weight, would I have done it? But I was aware of that. I was aware that it would take me a long time. But what I have with the Cambridge diet compared to other diets I have done is that guarantee of I'm going to lose the weight. And I know that I need to lose the weight first and then spend in about a year's time, and then spend another year after that consolidating and getting used to that being my new normal. But I think it will be okay to do that because I will already be what I want to be. So I'm hoping that that will be okay. But I am conscious that it is a big project, a big personal project, a big life-changing experience. So it will require focus, and it didn't come on overnight. The weight is definitely not going to go away overnight, and it's going to take some work. So I'm paying back what I have done, and I know that it's going to take some time. And it's not about payback and punishing yourself or anything like that, but it does take time to go back up, and it does take time to work it off. So I'm just going through the motions, but I know as long as I stick to the plan, as you know, it comes off. So those are my plans for the future in terms of the diet and what I want to do. By the way, shout out to the people that leave me comments regularly. EJ, you have been with me from pretty much the start, so thank you so much. Maria, you have been great and you've been answering lately. I really love your feedback. And Scary Spider as well, and the other person, Juliet, you've replied recently. Thank you so much. There was something you mentioned that you said that you don't have a support system around you. So that was something that I really wanted to touch on, because I think that weight loss is such a misinterpreted thing where everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a point of view on what they think that you should or you shouldn't do, over and above the own opinions of people that you have somehow, I think we all ingrain in our brains, that little voice that kind of tells you what all of those shoulds, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And that is just not always the most positive thing to have. So that's something to be aware of and to manage. But if you're doing a diet for a period of time, you need to surround yourself with the people and or the input that is going to support you in the way that you need to be supported, and only you know that, what that is. And it doesn't always come from your near and dear. Sometimes your family and your friends want the best for you, but they don't know the best way to communicate that to you. So they put things across in a very telling way. You should be doing this, and what you need to do is to do such and such. Or they put things in a way that sets you off and it makes you feel like you want to rebel. I know that I did that for the longest time in terms of, if my mother mentioned something to me about dieting, or are you sure you want to eat that? It just made me want to eat it even more. And it's such a teenager type of reaction in terms of teenagers. It might be unfair to teenagers, to be honest. It's a fairly immature reaction in terms of you just want to rebel against being told what to do. But at the end of the day, you end up hurting yourself because you're reacting to how other people are making you feel, but you're not even aware of what it is that they're making you feel. You just feel the need to do something about it. So it's interesting to know that people may be wanting to help you but not know how to, or you truly may not have anybody around you that understands what you're going through, that want to support you, that can support you, or that you may even want to reach out to and talk to them about things. It may be that right now you're not comfortable and you need to deal with it by yourself. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on is that there are two things I would recommend to do about that. One would be to surround yourself with things and motivation and inspiration and thinking that helps you get and stay in the right mind zone for you. So whether it's through videos, whether it's through Facebook groups, whether it's through Instagram and watching stories, I know that I was doing that for the longest period of time, trying to get myself in the right space. But it does take some time, you know, and you'll get there through the cumulative of things that you do, just that whole group of things. And it may be that it takes you a long time to get into that right mind space. It's not about the time, it's about what are you doing about yourself and how are you supporting yourself. So if support from others is great, but at the end of the day, the biggest support that you'll ever get is from yourself. And you're the one that, you know what you want, you know what taking care of you means, and you're the one that needs to do it. So feel empowered, don't fall victim, don't wait for others to help you and to save you, because they're not going to do it. Everybody's too busy trying to survive themselves, and you need to do this for you. So please make sure that you do things for yourself, and you will have learnings. You will learn, you will make mistakes, you will maybe do things that are not supportive of what you want to do, because a million things could happen, because you had a bad day, because you've had a bad moment, because somebody put food in front of you and you couldn't resist it. You know, all of those times that you go through things like that. Yes, on the one hand, you could see as you've not been able to stick to your diet, but on the other hand, this is part of you learning what it takes to do it. And if you haven't done it, first of all, forgive yourself, because there's nothing you can do about it now. The damage is done. Okay, you've ate whatever it was, you've had it. It's time to move on. So understand what happened, own it, saying, you know, I ate this, I wasn't supposed to eat it, but I've had it. Why did I eat it? What was driving that? Really understand that. That's the important thing, because that will help you to understand what was the trigger for you. And that trigger is the thing that you need to focus on, to say, okay, it was because I was having an emotional reaction. An emotional reaction to what? Something somebody said? Was it something that happened at work? Is it because of stress? Was it because you were tired and you needed to keep going? Was it because it was something that you felt you were never going to be able to eat again in your life and you wanted it? Or was it just because you're so into a habit of eating that your body was telling you, I need to be having this? So there's multiple things that can happen, but make sure that you learn from your experiences, but you forgive yourself for having had that experience, because at the end of the day, you could be punishing yourself for your own expectations of how you think you need to be perfect, but you need to go through those moments to learn. But the important thing is that you learn. If you keep yourself in a guilty space, and if you keep telling yourself all the things that you should and you shouldn't do, you're only going to make yourself feel worse, and that's actually going to probably put you in a worse mind frame that is going to make you to want to eat more from comfort or trying to avoid it or to forget it, and it's going to be counterproductive for you. So really try to understand that, and think about what are the sort of things that help you get your strength, for your willpower, for your motivation, for your weight loss, if that's what you want to do, or if you want to fit into a specific dress or do a certain event. What are the things that are going to help you get there? And what are the key things that will help you at the moment of making the choices? I think those trigger points and pinpointing your decision making process at the time that it matters is what can really help make or break whether you're successful with a diet or not. In the past, I have been doing diets, and I have been doing them, I think, from a not fully committed perspective. So I would say, oh yeah, I was convinced I wanted to totally do it. I want to totally diet. I want to lose the weight. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to do it. And then I would hear something like, if you do this, you can have as much pasta as you want. You're free to have all of the pasta that you want. And I would take that as a challenge. It's like, there's no way I can be having pasta. Let me put that to the test. I will prepare a massive big bowl, and then I will be eating it. I was always pushing the limits. So it was a diet where you have, I've done another diet where you could always only have carb in the morning for breakfast, and it was only like a piece of wholemeal bread or brown bread, and you'd have it in a toast with a bit of ham in the morning, or ham and cheese or something like that, and then you couldn't have anything else. So I would do something because it was like, oh, I don't really like brown bread, so I'm going to change it to white bread. So I changed it to white bread as a starting point. And then maybe I lost a bit of weight, maybe I didn't, but maybe I didn't. And if I lost a bit of weight, then I thought, okay, maybe one piece of brown bread is not so, or white bread is not so bad. So maybe I'll have one piece of brown and one piece of white, and then I'll try that for a week. And then if I lost the weight, I would start again, and it might become two pieces of white bread. And before you know it, I was having something else with lunch, and before you know it, that had escalated, and before you know it, I wasn't even doing the diet, and I wasn't even weighing myself or even thinking about it anymore, because it was better to avoid it than to confront it. That has been my biggest downfall in my previous diets for the longest period of time. The other thing that has been a big downfall for me in terms of diets and what I have done wrong in the past when I've been trying to diet is I was thinking of a diet as, this is something that is forced upon me. Like, I'm having to do this diet, but I don't really want to do it, but I have to do it because this is what you have to do to lose weight. So then I would be doing the diet begrudgingly, and you can imagine how motivating that was. So I would be doing that, and I'd be like, I have to do this, and then you'd be looking at what you're eating, you'd be looking at what other people are eating, and you're thinking, okay, great. So that's another thing. So it's either pushing boundaries, testing the limits of the diet, or doing begrudgingly, or doing the diet for the wrong reasons because you think that you have to do it, because you think that other people expect you to diet. And then you're never going to stick to it because you're going to be looking at all the things around you, and you're not going to stick to it. Also, choosing the wrong diet, a diet that makes you feel constantly deprived, wasn't good. So diets that are very restrictive, that really limit the amount of food, especially if it's not food that if it takes away all the food you want to have. But I also find that the diets that are too freeing, like you can have so much food from all of this and there's no measuring and there's no quantities, for me were a major trigger and set me off in all the wrong behaviors, because I would be looking at how much of that food can I have, and because that's all I can have, I would have even more of it. Because of course, you couldn't possibly just have a normal portion. It's free, so therefore I'm just going to continue piling my plate. It was really very much about quantity more than quality. And other diets where you're given a certain allowance of whatever it is you could have, call it whatever points or other alternatives you want to call it. I would be looking at that as a way of saying, well, I've ate this much, but I've still got so many points, so what can I have that are those points? And of course I wouldn't look for like carrots and celery. I would look for what ice creams could I have that are whatever the 2-3 points that I have left, or what chocolate bar could I have, or I'll have some biscuits because if I have 1 or 2 points left, then I'll of course eat the biscuit. And before you knew it, that biscuit became 2 biscuits, and it became 5 biscuits, and before you know it, half a pack is gone, and then you've blown your budget. But I'll make it up with tomorrow, which I never did. So those have been my downfalls in the past, and I've gone through all of those until I kind of gave up on dieting. And was it Christmas last year? I was like, right, I'm done. And it's Christmas, I'm going to enjoy myself, I'm going to have everything I want. So I did. And then I have a birthday in January, and I had family coming over. So of course I couldn't diet for that or before it, because I'm only going to eat cake in 2 weeks' time. So I might as well just continue eating cake in between. And then I had another birthday a week after, so I have to do that. And then after that, it was February, and there was something else happening there. And before you know it, I had friends coming to stay, and then something else happened. And then I had to go on a business trip, and then I had to come back. And then it was Easter, and you're not going to start dieting at Easter because you got all of those Easter eggs and all of those presents that you get from people. So I couldn't possibly start it then. Can you tell the amount of denial I was under? But it took me to go through all of that to understand that I literally had no self-control, and that I had no real notion of what was appropriate or not. And it was only when I had my mother's intervention, which was the first time my mother had actually talked to me a bit about my diet and where I was, in a way that made me think, actually I need to think about it. So rather than reacting like a stroppy child that was being told off, also she positioned it in a different way, so it felt more like a two-way conversation rather than a telling. And that, combined with the worry in her face and looking at me and what I was seeing, made me think, you know what, I need to do something about this. And the truth is that a lot of the eating I was doing was avoiding facing the truth. And the truth was that I wasn't happy with myself and with how I was feeling and with my body. And for some reason, I just resorted to the only comfort I knew, which was eating. And basically gives you some form of temporary high where you feel better when you're eating. So you block all of that out. Vicious circle. So finding the Cambridge diet, the one-to-one diet, for me has been life-changing, because it has helped me to address so many of those things. It has really helped me to snap out of those bad behaviors, address all of those food cravings that I had and get rid of those. Also understand what normal portion sizes would be, and that I didn't have any of that. And I have been focusing on, I want this to be the last diet I'm ever on. I know that I will still need to do a little bit of weight management. Everybody fluctuates. So when I reach my goal weight, I will fluctuate. But I've set myself a goal that is the middle of the range within BMI, middle to high. I'm not even going for middle to low or anything like that. I'm going to middle to high. That's the weight target I've set for myself. And I do think it's realistic. So I'm going to go for that. That's what I'm working to. And I've set myself goals. I've given myself a very realistic expectation of how long it's going to take me. A year to lose the weight, a year to maintain it and let that new weight become my normal, and learn to eat to that weight so that I don't have to worry about food. So for me, this is a 2-year challenge. The first challenge is to lose the excess weight. The second challenge will be to maintain it. And I do think that the second challenge will be the hardest, because I'm finding the weight loss so easy to adjust to that is almost a little bit surprising. So I'm working around that, and that's what I'm working to. So yeah, but it has taken me all of those failures, and to understand it, and to really own the weight loss for myself, rather than feeling like it was something that I had to do. For me to get into my current space, so if I seem like I have all the goodwill in the world because I'm saying things like, I'm going to be doing step 1 during Christmas, and I'm conscious of that, and I am choosing to do that, it is because I have gone through so many diets where it came to Christmas and I thought, well, it is Christmas, I'm going to be with family, I'm going to be overeating, I don't want to miss out. And then I would eat, and then that would set me off. And then before I knew, I was back to my original weight and even higher than I was before I began the diet. But this time, I don't want to do that. I want to lose the weight. I don't want to lose the momentum. I want to keep going. I am a little bit worried about my skiing holiday because that's a break. But I'm also aware that I need to learn to deal with challenges and different circumstances. So if my skiing holiday is my way of dealing with the fact that sometimes you have to just accept that you're going to have challenges. You have to face them, and you have to find a way to manage through them, and then still continue to focus on your end goal. This is my chance to do that. So that's why I'm so focused on, okay, Christmas, continue to lose as much as possible. I'll manage my holiday, my ski, and then I'll come back and I will continue. And I am so determined to do that. But please don't feel that I have all the answers and that I'm perfect and that I have an out of this world, willpower over and above from anyone. I really don't. I am somebody that I have failed at my diet a million times. I have been on diets ever since I can remember. I can remember being 12 and being on a diet. So I have a huge amount of experience on doing diets, on losing weight, on putting all of that weight back on because of the wrong behaviors. And what I have done this time round is to really face the facts of where have I gone wrong and what were the things that triggered me through those diets and what can I do to address them. And my support system is great. It keeps me motivated. It gives me the feedback, but it really starts with you, and you need to get to the point that you're convinced that that's what you want to do, because you're the only one that can make you act in whatever way you're acting. And this is just me sharing my own reflections. This is it's not a pep. Well, it might be a pep talk. It may not be a pep talk. I just wanted to share the fact that I am not perfect. I am learning as I'm doing this. Every week is a new discovery. I am so happy with my outcome and my results. I kind of pinch myself every day because I can't believe how well I'm doing, and I am so happy with the outcome. But I'm also very thankful that I've had all of those previous failures that have taught me this is what I have to do, and those are the things that I need to focus on. And these have been trigger points and danger areas for me in the past. And now what I'm doing is, in a cool, calm and rational way, understanding them before they hit me so that I am ready to tackle them when they do. Because they will. Like, there will be people eating around me. There will be food being passed in front of my face. There will be family situations, etc. But I am also doing whatever it is that I need to do to get me what I want. And if there's something that I'm doing different over and above other times, is to put myself first and my needs first. And that's why I'm choosing to spend Christmas just the two of us at home without going to visit family like we would normally do. I don't want to put myself in that position. It is a bit trigger. I don't want to do it. I don't feel equipped yet to deal with all of that food for that period of time and all of those things around me. I want to tackle all the things first, and then I will come to that. So that's part of my my learning process. So looking forward, that's what I've got. I'm over the halfway. The only ways, I was going to say the only ways up, but the only ways down in sizes. I've got a very clear plan of action. I have things that I'm going to have to work around and to manage, and I know that I need to focus on it every day. So hopefully you find that useful and that's something that you can relate to. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything that you're particularly struggling with. Chances are that we all are, and there's a huge amount of people out here that are losing weight. We all need to support each other in the best way possible, because it is a really tough thing to do. It is a tough physically, it's tough emotional and socially and lifestyle, and it's something that requires a lot of focus. So it's not, it's not easy. I know that sometimes I say I'm doing so great and I'm finding it easy, but it does require all of that being in place for it to work. So if there's anything I can help you with in terms of thinking about your diet, how you can approach it, let me know. If there's any specific things that you struggle with, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Please leave your comments below. You know that I reply to everything. I'm looking forward to hearing the results. I hope that you're all having a great amount of success. I hope that you're all feeling chilly because you're losing weight, or if not, that you are focusing on yourselves, and that's more than good enough. Have a great rest of the week. Have an amazing weekend, and I will be talking to you all very soon. Have a great one. Talk soon. Bye.